speaking of wise decisions,
Oh.
Elon Musk continues to be a talking point as the Tesla and Twitter CEO took to Spaces last night, Twitter Spaces, to say that he will not sell any more Tesla stock for another 2 years. He said 18 months, 24 months. This comes after Musk sold $3.6 billion in stock last week, bringing his total sold over the last year to almost $40 billion. And let's be clear here, his credibility is just about nil when he says he's not selling more stock, because he has said several times, notably in April and August, I believe, that he wasn't selling more stock. And then he went ahead and sold more stock. Part of that related to his acquisition of Twitter. And he also just says he's not feeling great right now because of the economic backdrop. And that's been part of the reason why he said he's been selling stock.
Nothing like hearing from Elon Musk saying he is expecting a severe recession or economic slowdown. Really, 2 weeks before they're supposed to announce delivery estimates, which is a major red flag. It's almost like he's giving you guidance real time. And to that end, friend of the show, Dan Ives, out with another one of his Tesla notes, which I continue to write up. I have that story on YahooFinance.com right now, saying Elon Musk is asleep at the wheel of Tesla. And I think Dan is now coming around to this view, and maybe not some others on the street just yet, that maybe Elon should also take a back seat at Tesla. If he's going to be that focused on Twitter, maybe he should get a more of a focused CEO at Tesla, more of an automotive guy to run that company as well.
I mean, he did try to reassure investors on that front as well during the Spaces. He said he hasn't missed a single important meeting at Tesla. He also talked about that Tesla is orders of magnitude more complicated to run than Twitter, which is interesting given that
making cars.
He seems to be spending more of his time on Twitter these days, but he did talk about that. So it's kind of interesting here. You know, we'll see if he switches his attention going into the new year, but it feels like the shiny new toy is still getting most of his attention. And by the way, as we keep talking about, it has really cost Elon Musk and Twitter, and it has benefited one of the villains in the Musk universe, and that's people who have shorted Tesla shares.
Yes, some good commentary from our very own senior editor Miles Udland in the Morning Brief newsletter, looking at how much short sellers have cleaned up. But Julie, the stats on Tesla are not pretty. Down 70% from the highs last year. I believe down more than 30% in the past month alone. And you can make the argument this sell-off may just be getting started. And I mention that because the street largely has still supported Musk. But this was the week, really, where you start to see some of that Wall Street backlash, not just because of what he's doing in Twitter, but because the fundamentals of the business appear to be slowing.
And you see there the short interest in the stock, the data coming to us from S3 Partners, mark-to-market profits from those shorts, $15 billion this year. That doesn't reflect yesterday's decline. But, you know, obviously it's kind of incredible here. The next biggest short, by the way, the next most profitable short this year is Amazon. That's $6.2 billion. So less than half of what people have made by shorting Tesla this year. It has been a big profitable bet. There's one more thing that I do want to mention here this morning, because Elon Musk has really pushed this off and said, this is a macro problem. This is a Federal Reserve problem. They're raising rates. That makes my business more difficult. But to your point, there also have been some fundamental issues. One of the others is that the company remains, Tesla that is, not to be confused, the primary company, it remains under scrutiny by federal regulators at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. According to reporting from CNBC this morning, NHTSA now has included 2 more crashes in its broadening investigation of what it says are possible accidents tied to, or crashes tied to, Tesla's autopilot program. Doesn't seem to be having a big negative effect on the stock, but it is something that the bears have consistently pointed to as a potential negative for the company.
We can sit here for the next 2 hours and talk about this guy and Tesla. It's endless, and we're still going to be doing this again next year. It's just reality.